the very first thing, the top thing that we need to understand when we're looking at prioritizing our rest and recovery is sleep, is getting enough sleep. And by enough sleep, I mean at least 7 to 9 hours sleep. So throughout this training, when I talk about people that aren't getting enough sleep, I'm talking about that suboptimal sleep as being less than 7 hours. And people that are getting enough sleep, obviously it does vary for individuals, but scientifically, every human being needs at least between 7 and 9 hours sleep. Less than 6 hours sleep and you are in technical sleep deprivation. It happens very, very quickly. There is no sleep bank. You cannot build up your sleep. You cannot make up for your sleep on a weekend by having lay-ins and resting extra time. This is a daily priority. This is who, we were talking about who you were being, your daily habits. Sleep is a very transient thing. You can't build up good sleep. You can't save it up and you can't make up for it. So when we talk about sleep, it's a daily habit and it's at least 7 to 9 hours sleep. Now, when you sleep well, when you get those 7 to 9 hours, did you know that you could burn up to 500 more calories by sleeping well compared to a person who is not getting enough sleep? That's a lot, right? If you've been tracking your calories, 500 calories, that's quite a lot of food. That's quite a lot more indulgence. That's quite a lot more fat loss as well. So just by getting enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours, you can burn up to 500 more calories. How amazing is that? Now, not only do you need to sleep deeply, we're talking about restorative sleep and REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. So there's different phases of sleep, which we're not going to go into, but the deeper the sleep, the more calories you burn, the most active your brain is. So not only are you going to burn more calories whilst you're asleep, but just the pure act of getting enough sleep means that you will be resetting your body and regulating your hunger hormones. So what we do know, and again, this is all backed up by scientific studies. This is not just me saying this or the experience I have with my clients. This is real scientific data that comes from studying thousands and thousands of people. So we know that sleep is very important in order to regulate our hormones, specifically our hunger hormones that relate to how hungry we feel and whether we crave carbohydrates and sugary food. So what we do know is that people that don't get enough sleep are likely to eat 200 to 300 calories more just the day following the bad sleep. So if you've been not sleeping well or not getting enough sleep, not getting at least 7 hours sleep for a period of time, and you are only an average person and you are only eating 200 to 300 calories more because that's how your hormones have regulated you. So this is not your fault. Okay, remember here to maintain zero judgment. We're not here to judge ourselves, to beat ourselves up, to say, oh my God, I'm just not getting enough sleep. Oh, this is awful. And, before we go down that rabbit hole, because there are solutions and there is help for you, let's just understand that an average person not getting enough sleep will consume 200 to 300 calories more the next day. Now, over the course of a year, that's an extra 15 pounds. It's an extra 70,000 calories. That's 15 pounds of fat. So, sometimes people say, I don't understand. I'm just putting on all this weight. I don't know where it's coming from. One of the reasons, it's not going to be the only reason, but one of the reasons could be related to how much sleep you're getting. Are you getting enough sleep? So not only will your body physically regulate your hormones in order for you to feel hungrier so that you will find it very hard not to eat more and more calories, it also regulates your mood and your emotions. So if you're feeling cranky, if you're feeling sleep deprived, it is even harder to follow through with your actions. It's even harder to follow through with your daily habits. It's even harder to believe in yourself and to follow through on the stuff that you've committed to. So poor sleep is bad news. And if that wasn't enough, it also decreases your metabolism. And so there's different studies on this here. One study looked at the day after poor sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, this can be an instant issue. If you've not been sleeping well for a long time, these issues will only get worse. Decreases your metabolism, so your metabolism will slow down by 20% compared to someone that's had a full night's sleep. Yeah. So that means that the food that you're eating the day after not having a good night's sleep is not being burnt as well or put to good use in the body. Your body is physically slowing down its metabolism. Remember, your metabolism is fluid. You can change it very quickly. So one of the ways of boosting your metabolism very quickly is to get more sleep. This is good news. This is really good news, because if you're already sleeping well, then hooray, hurrah, you can celebrate. And if you're not already sleeping well, then know that there are solutions, and this can be something that can really help you speed up your metabolism and make weight loss much faster and easier for you. So a couple more bits just before we move on to the next dream body habit. When you haven't slept well, you can still lose weight. But one of the most negative impacts of this is that when you lose weight, it will not be taken from fat. It will in fact be taken from your muscles. So even if you're in a calorie deficit, yeah, you are eating under your TDEE, the amount of energy that your body needs to perform its daily activities. So you're making sure that you're eating less food. So we're on a diet effectively, or you're just controlling your food in the app. Even if you're in a calorie deficit, if you are not sleeping sufficiently, the body will take weight. It will take its energy from your lean muscle, 70%. It will take 70% of its energy requirement from your muscles and not from your fat. It will do everything it can to preserve fat, because if you're not sleeping well, the body's priority is to store fat. Does that make sense? Yeah, can you see how the body has evolved to do that? When you're not sleeping well, it changes its biological priorities. And that includes your hormones, your metabolism, your behaviors, everything. This is a holistic effect. Not only will it only take energy, or mainly take energy, from your lean muscles and not from your fat stores, but it will also lower your muscle performance the next day. So if you don't sleep well and you go out and exercise, it won't use as many, your body will not use as many calories. So can you imagine if you're a bit tired or exhausted and you force yourself to go to the gym and do that really hard HIIT workout when you're really hot and sweaty and you're just like exhausted, but you feel guilty and you feel like you need to go and sweat it out or do all this exercise? Can you imagine your body just like holding on for dear life to the calories because it feels threatened, it feels afraid, it is not being looked after properly. It is not being able to recover properly from all the demands that you're placing on it. So the body will hold on to those calories. It will hold on to its energy really hard. It doesn't want to spend that energy. Therefore, when you exercise after you've not slept well, you do not burn as many calories as people who have had a normal night's sleep will burn more calories when they exercise, which means they do the same exercise as you and it's much more effective and they burn through much more energy. I mean, how cool is that? Get a good night's sleep and you burn even more calories the next day. Okay, and if you are exercising regularly and you don't sleep well, you can have a build-up of lactic acid in your muscles. You know, that DOMS, that delayed onset of muscle soreness. You know, when you feel achy after you've worked out, it can make recovery much, much harder. The lactic acid stays in the muscles for longer. It can make you more prone to injury, and it also dampens your immune system, makes it really hard for you to fight off viruses and colds and things like that. Am I painting a negative enough picture here? I don't know. Poor sleep also creates insulin issues. So even after just 6 days in a row of less than 7 hours sleep, your body has 40% less ability to process sugar, which means you begin to have insulin resistant issues. You are not processing glucose properly and become more sensitive to sugar, and your body will start partitioning the nutrients, basically storing more fat from the food that you are eating, especially from anything that's sugary or glucosey, which is why sometimes it might not make sense. Like, I used to be able to eat this stuff, I used to, eat all these carbs, I never used to put on weight before. Is it beginning to make sense to you? Perhaps if you are somebody that hasn't been getting a full 7 to 9 hours sleep, is it beginning to make sense how this could have created a cascade of problems in the body? So it's really, really important that we get enough sleep. It's one of the top habits. It's number 2, rest and recovery, top habits of getting your dream body, and one that you may not have thought of before. So I hope that's really helpful for you to begin to open your eyes, begin to shed some awareness, create awareness around what's really important, where you really need to focus your energy in your habits, the habits